Never forget that story. She tells it every day. It was a great story. My son Ryan, he was there when Nana passed away, and before she got to the point where she became non-responsive, Ryan had talked with her and he told her that he was doing some writing, and she said, well, I'd like to hear somebody writing. He said, well, I'll read you some tomorrow. So she said, I am so looking forward to hearing your stories. Unfortunately, the next day, she had descended into a state where she really couldn't respond, and so Ryan didn't get to read much of the stories to her, but I know that Nana's on your side when it comes to your future, whether you're doing writing or whatever you choose to do as a career. She was a great mother. She was a wonderful mother to us. I wanted to also mention Noah. It was Nana's request that you sing here at this service. It wasn't our idea, it was her idea. So she's so looking forward to hearing you sing today, and she's going to, along with your wife Christina. Another interesting story, Ian, my sister Susan's middle son. He was there when Nana passed away. He had the wherewithal to play on his phone the music of Glenn Miller, the Glenn Miller Orchestra, which she remembers when she was young. This is music from the 1940s. And she perked up when she heard it. She, Moonlight Serenade, My grand-uncle Frank was the lead trombonist in the Glenn Miller Orchestra. So when my mom and dad were growing up, they were very familiar with that music and very closely attached to it. And Ian had just the great heart to play that music for her as she was lying in bed there. And Liam, thank you so much for being her personal driver and running errands for her when she needed it. You were there for her, and believe me, she's not going to forget it. Timothy and Thomas, Nana's proud of you guys. She's proud of that she could be at your graduations, the University of Massachusetts for Thomas and Bridgewater State for Timothy. And she's very proud that you're in the Air Force and moving on in your careers there. These are things that we talked about. When I was there at the weekend she died, she talked about all you guys. And she loved all of you. And she wants you guys to do the best you can. In 1979, my mom wrote something. I want to read it to you. It's not very long. I promise to go quickly. She calls this a gift of love. And it's about how she perceived being a mother. Here's how she wrote. She says, I am a mother. This is a title of which I am extremely proud, and I feel complimented when I am called a mother. My children were prayed for and were a wonderful gift from God. With the full realization of this gift, most precious in my life, my only way to show my complete gratitude to God was to return them to Him by dedicating them to Him. Just as Abraham was tested in his love for God when asked to give up his long-awaited child and was forever rewarded with an abundance of love from God, I too have been rewarded in seeing the beauty of my children blossom forth each day. From the very beginning of each young life, I have told about this all-filling love of God and the joy for each one of us as we return this love to Him. Life is never lonely when Jesus walks beside us. There's always someone to talk to, someone to lead the way from hurts, from difficulties and fear. His arms are always open to comfort us, to soothe away the frowns and pain, and to let us know He always cares for each of us. She says, I've never been a disciplinarian. Whenever my children needed correction or redirection, my aim was always to point out the positive side of the good action and to pass over lightly the error of the wrong action. As they are now close to being young adults and not always in my sight, I can only hope that my way of teaching my children about the world was pleasing to God. It was the very best I could do and was carried out with much love. I have given to my Lord all that I hold most dear, my most precious possessions, my children. I will know my gift is pleasing. When I am allowed to see them in the work of God, I will be rewarded and fulfilled. She wrote that back in 1979. I don't even remember how old I was in 1979. I didn't even know she wrote it. I think my brother Tim discovered this as they were going through some materials there in the house. Anyway, in the end, We shared some time together. She did not have to go to a hospital or a hospice. We administered medicines as her children to her. And we took care of her the best we could with some help from some wonderful visiting nurses. In the week before she died, my wife Faye and I read Bible scriptures to her, and we sang hymns in two-part harmony. At least she didn't cringe at that. It wasn't bad. It was okay. We sat around the bed and we talked about days gone by. Sometimes we didn't even know if she was listening though, but we believed she was. Then on Sunday, our prayers were answered. She took her last breath. And I remember we were sitting there, and I remember she was breathing very short breaths, and her chest had stopped moving, so I know she wasn't really getting a lot of oxygen. But then I saw her eyes turn skyward. It almost sounds like a movie, but her eyes turned skyward, and she stopped breathing. And I said to everybody, I said, I think she's gone. And when it really hit me is when Susan, my sister, said, Mom, it's time to go home now. And she said, bye, Mom. And that broke my heart when you said that. That was the most touching moment for me when I heard you say those words. And I'll never forget those words. She's with the Lord now, and our prayers have been answered. We can't thank you all enough for being here. I want to thank Bobby, our good friend, for being there, for visiting, Diane, Melissa, Mary Ann, and anyone else I don't know, because I don't know who came to visit, but everybody who did, we're so grateful that you did. We know there's some folks here who've lost loved ones recently, and you know our prayers are with you. We know how hard it can be when someone close to you moves on. We thank you for being here. It means a lot to us. I'm sorry if I took too long. I hope to just say hello and meet every one of you before the day is over. We won't stay too long. But thanks again for being here. Pastor Dave, I'll turn it all back over to you. Thank you very much.
As I was thinking about the remarks that I would want to make this evening, there was only one scripture that kept coming to heart. In fact, as I studied and prepared, I actually tried to find another scripture, and I just couldn't leave this one alone. It's found in Psalm 116, and verse 15. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his godly ones. Make no mistake about it. I don't think God enjoys death any more than we do. When he made Adam and Eve, he made them with the design that they should live. Their own selfish choices and humanity's selfish choices since that day has brought death to all of us. And so never think that God delights in the death of any man. So what does the scripture mean? The Hebrew word for precious is yakar. That word, when used in reference to material things, denotes that which is rare, of great value, costly, it's precious. But when applied to persons, it means special honor, excellence, reputation. And I would remind you this evening that the death of God's saints is distinguished from death as a common lot of man. It is precious in the eyes of God. How can it be precious? It is precious in the loss of someone who is extremely valuable. She's valuable to her family, valuable to this church family, really valuable to the community. She's valuable. The loss of Marilyn really is something quite precious to us. I thank you, Tom and Sue, for calling me and letting me know that she was in her last days. It really did come on quickly. I hadn't heard about it, and only by your kindness did I know about it and was able to come. I actually received the news when I was in Florida. I'd gone there for our denominational biannual meeting and got the news and made a decision. I knew by Tom's text that she probably didn't have long to live unless God would do a miracle. So we flew into Manchester. My son-in-law picked me up and brought me back, and I told him, I said, before we go home, I want to stop and see if I can see Mary. When I walked into the room, I'm a sentimental old fool, as many of you know, and immediately got teary-eyed, and most of my visit with her, I cried. Sometimes feel like I'm a lousy pastor because I don't do a good job of comforting. I thought to myself when I left, I just sat there and cried the whole time. She was supposed to be there to help. She asked me, she said, "Where's Lisa?" I said, "Well, she's out in the car." I said, "We just flew in and we come from the airport. She's had a really bad cold. She's had a fever, and she didn't want you to catch it." She looked at me with that twinkle in her eyes that I've seen a few times, and she said, "You mean she doesn't want to kill me?" Carlene told me that when she had the chance to visit with her, that she said to her, "I can't wait until I can get into the presence of Jesus and put my arms around his feet." She probably said something like that to me. All I do know is that she said to me, "Pastor, would you just pray that the Lord would take me home soon? I'm so ready to see him." I'm sorry I wasn't able to do that. Personal story. Years ago, my grandmother was sick and was just as it turned out to be a few months away from death. She'd been telling my mom and my mother's sister that she wanted to go home, and it was my mom and her sister were feeling the gravity of those words, and I knew it was kind of hurting them. And I went in to visit Grandma one day, and Grandma said to me, she said, "Son, I want to go home." I said, "Do you really?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Well, if you really want to go, then let's pray. I'll pray that God would take you." I knelt down beside her bed and I took her hand, and just before I could open my mouth, a man knocked on the door and walked in and interrupted my prayer. And I felt that God spoke to me and said, "I didn't call you to pray for people to die. I called you to pray for people's healing." And so as I sat with Marilyn the other day, I didn't have the heart to tell her because I knew she was ready. And I knew her heart longed to go. And we just prayed that the peace of God would be near to her and settle around her. And it's kind of cool. There at the end, she had been so alert. I don't know whether she had just taken medicine. I don't know what happened, but as I prayed, it was just like she rested. And I walked out of the room last time that I had the privilege of seeing that dear lady. Though I've only known her for a few years now, her loss is precious to me. Her loss is precious to the kingdom of God. Listen to what she wrote about her kids. How important it was that her children, and those of you grandkids can count yourself in that number, how important it was that her kids know Jesus, just like she did. That really was her ambition. That her family would know Christ, and I believe it really was her desire that others would know Christ through the witness of her life. And what a life she lived. I could see Christ in it. precious to her family, precious to those of us who knew her and loved her, precious to the church, precious in the sight of God. The question is, if her life and her death are precious, then what do we take from that scripture? And here's what I take. That if the death of a godly one, a saint of God, is precious in the eyes of God, then those of us who remain are called to step up and take the place and walk in the godly shoes of a saintly, godly person to do what they would have done. And so what your mom did to lead the family to Christ, you continue. I think you are, but I challenge you to continue. To reflect Christ in everything you do, grandsons that are here. And to all of us, give thanks that she lived a godly life, a good life,